guest joining us now to talk about this case. David Schwartz is a criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. Always great to see you, David.
Hi, Lisa. How are you?
I'm just fine on this Tuesday morning. How are you?
Very good, very good.
It's nice to see you. You never call, you never write, but you know, you come in and we get to see you.
It's a two-way street, but I look forward to talking about this case with you.
Okay, so if Phil Spector is convicted, excuse me, would this be an appealable issue that he was required to go forward without a woman who, if she wasn't his lead counsel, she was an integral part of the defense team?
Yeah, I think it is an appealable issue. You have a Sixth Amendment right under the Constitution to have, you know, counsel of your choice by your side. I think in the context of this trial, this was a 4-month trial. It was a complete free-for-all. Everything was allowed under the sun in this trial. This wasn't one of those restrictive cases where the judge, you know, puts his fist down and says, we have to go forward with this case. I think it was a reasonable application by the defendant.
But the guy has 6 lawyers.
Yeah.
She's primarily there on the science issues. None of the science issues were covered during the 2 weeks that she was gone. Doesn't that help the prosecution?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying they're going to win this. They're going to win on that issue on appeal. I think it is an appealable issue, and when you look at it within the context of this trial, to ask for a 2-week adjournment during this particular trial would not have been such a big deal. This is something that dragged on for 4.5 months. It was a very bizarre trial to start with all the different factors involved. It went way too long anyway. But to put his hand down on a constitutional issue, you know, something so sacred as the Sixth Amendment is questionable, and I think that will be, if he is convicted, a question for appeal.
So the Sixth Amendment gives you the right to 6 attorneys?
I think it gives you a right to 30 attorneys. No, but you know, he articulated the special relationship, you know, the special relationship between Bodden and himself. He articulated it on the record. He basically said she was the one attorney that he really could not go without. She was more than just the forensic science attorney. She acted as his personal counsel in this case, and he made that very clear that his link with the court was Linda Kenny Bodden, and that's so important. If you think about it, for a criminal defendant, you know, the criminal defense attorney, that's your one link to everything. It's your link to the court, it's your link to the judge, it's your link to the prosecutor.
And it's the only thing standing between you and the rest of your life in prison.
Absolutely.
As well. Now, David, put us into the minds of the attorneys. They had a long weekend, and they know that tomorrow is showtime. Closing arguments begin tomorrow in this case. What were they doing this weekend, these attorneys?
Oh, they were working, I think they were working all day long. You know, being on trial is a 24-hour process. There are no weekends, there are no holidays, there is no Labor Day weekend, okay? It's a 24-hour process. You live with this stuff. When you're in the shower, you're practicing your summation. It is just something that becomes a part of you. It takes on a life of its own, and if you're into your case the way you should be, that's how it affects you. It just affects your whole life. So you're always working.
But Lisa, how do you find time then to tape your TV show? That's what I don't understand.
Cutler, he managed to do it. Well, he's out now. Jury duty. By the way, I saw a huge billboard. Jury duty. I'm not going to give you the whole email address or the web address because I'm not a commercial for Jury Duty, but the show is called Jury Duty, and there's Bruce Cutler in the robes, and he seems to have bounced back okay. That's all I'm saying.
He'll be fine.
He seems to be doing all right.
Nobody feel bad for Bruce
Celebrity jurors. It does sound like an interesting premise. The Spector trial has had a cast of characters that rivals a Hollywood production. From a chauffeur who says he heard Spector confess to a woman who goes by the name Pumpkin Pie.
How would you describe your friend?
Neil? I never noticed that part of the testimony before. I listened to this testimony the first time around. It's so great to have an opportunity to look at the highlights before closing arguments start tomorrow, because David Schwartz, have you ever had a witness on the stand say, I'm a schlemiel?
Well, I've had a lot of funny things happen, but not that exact word, I'm a schlemiel. You know, this whole line of questioning is objectionable. This is not a normal trial. It's just every time I look...
It's objectionable to ask him about the fact that his wife is one of the lead defense attorneys?
Yes, it is. The defense strategy in the case, the facts about the attorneys in the case, and who coordinated what witnesses. You know, this is all objectionable. The whole line of questioning is objectionable.
Don't you think there's a conflict of interest? Doesn't you think his opinion is a little bit biased because he's married to Linda?
Well, I mean, there may be an apparent conflict of interest. There may be an apparent conflict of interest. Yeah, okay.
But an actual conflict. If he had an opinion that was bad for the defense, Do you think he's going to express it and bring his wife down?
Well, I don't think any expert witness called by the defense is going to be bad for the defense. So it holds true,
Well, that's true.
in almost every case that we see. But to get into that much detail, about defense strategy, who coordinated what witnesses, who called who, and it just was insane. The whole thing should have been objected to. Maybe the defense didn't object to it because he did such a good job defending the issue that I think he clearly won that battle against the prosecutor.
So, David, I'd ask Vinny this, but there's no way he would know the answer. Maybe. Do you know the difference between a schlemiel and a schlemazel?
Oh, you're asking me or Vinny?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm asking
I have
you.
no clue.
I'm asking you because I think it's very unlikely.
I would
Vinny.
ask Laverne and Shirley.
I think there's a fine difference between schlemiel and schlemazel. It's a more in-depth opinion. I don't know if you want to hear it here on.
Well, I got a short
Court
one, which
TV.
is, okay, a waiter in a restaurant spills the soup. The waiter is the schlemiel. The guy that gets the soup spilled on him is the schlemazel.
Now that's why you're a great attorney, Lisa, because you could shorten that whole answer.
Did you know that, Vinny?
I had no
That's
clue.
the schlemiel versus
No clue.
schlemazel. There's going to be a test on this tomorrow.
Oh, good.
We're teaching you Yiddish slowly over the years.
Well, here's the thing with Dr. Michael Baden. Yes, he's married to Linda Kenny Baden, and maybe that's I mean, this is really a confession. If, in fact, the jury believes that he heard what he said he heard, and Phil Spector uttered those words, I think I killed somebody, he's got a gun in his hand, and the gunshot just went off. I mean, do you need any more? David Schwartz, if they believe Adriana D'Souza, this thing is over.
I think that's the key piece of evidence for the prosecution. They need to believe him. We didn't play the cross-examination, though, because he did retract that a little bit during cross-examination. I forgot the exact...
Oh, he didn't retract it.
What was the exact wording he used on cross-examination, Lisa?
There was.
I think I killed somebody.
No, there was a little change in
I
the
think
words.
I killed somebody.
I just can't remember it right now. But the bottom line is, from the defense standpoint, yes, this is a key piece of evidence for the prosecution if they believe D'Souza, if they believed he heard what he heard that night. But there are nuances to that statement.
What's the most significant nuance that you would focus on during your closing argument?
The nuance, if somehow Spector felt guilty about causing that death,
yeah, in that one moment, he never felt guilty again after that.
Yeah,
Let him finish his answer. Objection, Your Honor.
If he felt guilty about being part of that suicide and not being able to stop her from committing suicide, because
I agree with you, but he never expressed any feelings of guilt ever again after that moment, including when he spoke to the police, when he spoke to journalists, when he spoke to his friends. He never, you know why? Because he doesn't feel any remorse. Either she killed herself and he doesn't feel responsible, or he killed her and he doesn't feel responsible, but he does not feel remorse.
Well, you can't get into the mind of Phil Spector, Lisa. You don't really know what's going on. He's a very complicated individual. He's a very strange individual.
That's
he was lawyered up from the very beginning. You just don't know what's going on. Just because he didn't show remorse to the press or he didn't show remorse to the police, he probably was more concerned about his own welfare at that point. But whether or not he showed remorse,
he bad-mouthed her.
Whether
he
or
said
not
a lot of nasty things about her.
But whether or not he showed remorse or he did not show remorse, it's still up to the prosecution, and we have to remember this. It's up to the prosecution to disprove the theory beyond a reasonable doubt that she committed suicide. I'm not sure
here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If your explanation for I think I killed somebody is he felt responsible for her suicide, then that was the only moment in time he ever felt responsible.
Well, that would not be the defense here. The defense here would be clearly that Spector did not make that statement, and that D'Souza heard it wrong. He may have a language problem, that anything to disprove the fact that that statement was made, because I agree with Vinny. If the jury believes D'Souza, that may be an open and shut case right there. So you have to challenge that statement, and you have to argue that that statement was not made. There was a lot going on at the time. It was a very crazy situation, and D'Souza may not have heard what he thought he heard that night.
Don't forget, he was eating snacks inside that limo.